It sees, it tracks, it decides, and before a human can react, it strikes. That battlefield is not science fiction anymore. It is being built right now in Ukraine. For most of modern history, war was judged by size. Bigger armies, heavier tanks, more aircraft, more money, more firepower. But Ukraine has exposed a brutal new reality. A cheap drone can destroy equipment worth millions. A small flying camera can locate a target that used to require satellites, aircraft, or entire reconnaissance teams. And a weapon built in a workshop can force a military superpower to change how it moves, hides, attacks, and defends. That is why drones are not just another tool in this war. They are becoming the center of it. At first, drones were mainly eyes in the sky. They watched trenches. They spotted artillery. They helped units see what was happening beyond the next road, field, or tree line. Then they became weapons. Small drones started dropping grenades into trenches. First-person view drones started flying directly into vehicles. Long-range attack drones started hitting fuel depots, airfields, ammunition sites, radar systems, ships, and energy infrastructure far behind the front. And once that happened, the battlefield changed. Because now there is no simple front line. There is the visible front, where soldiers and vehicles are fighting. And behind it, there is a much larger kill zone where anything that moves can be spotted, tracked, and attacked. A truck driving down a road, a tank trying to reposition, a radar system turning on for just long enough to be found, a group of soldiers moving between buildings. If a drone sees it, the clock starts, and that clock is getting shorter. This is the real story behind the drone war. It is not just that drones are cheaper, it is that drones are collapsing time. In older wars, finding a target and destroying it could take hours, sometimes longer. Someone had to spot it, report it, confirm it, pass the information up the chain, wait for approval, assign the weapon, fire, then check if the strike worked. That process gave the enemy time to move. But Ukraine is showing what happens when that cycle gets compressed. A drone spots a target, the feed is shared, coordinates are passed. Another drone or artillery system is directed toward it. The strike happens fast, sometimes in minutes, sometimes even faster. That is the sensor-to-shooter cycle. See the target, process the information, hit the target, and whoever shortens that cycle controls the pace of the battlefield. But speed is only one part of the story. The other part is volume. This war is turning into a numbers game. It is not one drone against one tank anymore. It is waves of drones, reconnaissance drones, first-person view attack drones, long-range strike drones, decoy drones, interceptor drones, drones that search, drones that strike, drones that hunt other drones. And the reason this matters is simple. No defense is perfect. If a country launches 10 drones, maybe most get shot down. If it launches 100, some may get through. If it launches 1,000, even a small failure rate can become a serious problem. That is the nightmare for defenders. You can intercept most of the attack and still lose something important. One drone reaching a fuel facility can start a fire. One drone reaching an air defense system can open a gap. One drone reaching a command post can change an entire operation. And every defender has to ask the same question. How much does it cost to stop something cheap? If a low-cost drone forces you to fire an expensive missile, the attacker may still win the exchange, even if the drone is destroyed. That is why drones are so disruptive. They do not have to be perfect. They just have to be cheap, available, and good enough to force a reaction. But now the war is moving into an even more dangerous stage: artificial intelligence. Because human operators have limits. A person can only control one drone at a time, maybe a small number with assistance. A person gets tired, a signal can be jammed, a connection can break. a pilot can lose the target. So the next step is obvious. Make the drone less dependent on the operator. That is where AI changes the equation. AI can help identify targets. It can help track movement. It can help guide a drone after the signal is lost. It can help analyze huge amounts of battlefield data faster than humans can. And when that happens, the drone becomes more than a flying camera or a remote-controlled bomb. It becomes part of a system that sees, filters, decides, and acts faster than a traditional chain of command. That does not mean every drone is fully autonomous. That is not the point. The point is that more and more of the process is being assisted by machines. The human is still involved, but the machine is taking over more of the speed, the tracking, the navigation, and the targeting support. And that is enough to change the war. Because the side that reacts faster gets the first shot. The side that processes more information gets the better picture. The side that connects drones, sensors, artillery, and command systems together gets the advantage. This is why Ukraine's drone development matters so much. It is not just building more drones, it is building a network around them. Workshops, software teams, battlefield testing, rapid feedback, new designs, better control systems, and new ways to survive electronic warfare. That last part is critical. Electronic warfare is one of the biggest threats to drones. If you can jam the GPS, you can confuse navigation. If you can jam the control signal, you can break the link between the operator and the drone. If you can jam the video feed, the pilot may lose sight of the target. For a while, that was one of the strongest answers to drone attacks. But the drones are adapting. Some systems are being designed to operate with less dependence on GPS. Some use onboard navigation. Some use visual information. Some are controlled through fiber optic cables, which makes them extremely difficult to jam because there is no normal radio signal to disrupt. And that creates a terrifying problem for defenders. If jamming does not work, you have to physically stop the drone. That means guns, nets, missiles, interceptor drones, or other direct defenses. But physical defense has its own problem. There are too many targets. Small drones are hard to see. They can fly low. They can hide in terrain. They can approach from unexpected angles. And when many arrive at once, every defense system gets stressed. This is why drone versus drone combat is becoming important. If drones are the threat, then drones may also become the defense. Interceptor drones are designed to chase, ram, shoot down, or disable other drones before they hit. That means the sky over the battlefield is becoming its own combat zone. Not just aircraft versus missiles, machine versus machine, drone hunting drone, software trying to beat software, and humans watching from a distance, trying to manage a fight that is moving faster than they can personally control. That is the part that should make everyone pay attention. Because this is not staying in Ukraine. Every major military is watching this war. The United States is watching. China is watching. NATO is watching. Iran is watching. Smaller countries are watching. Non-state groups are watching. Everyone is learning the same lesson. The future of war will not only belong to the side with the biggest tank or the most expensive aircraft. It will belong to the side that can produce fast, adapt fast, connect systems fast, and replace losses fast. That is a very different kind of power. A traditional weapon system can take years to design, approve, fund, build, and deploy. A drone design can be changed quickly. A new camera can be added. A new antenna can be tested. A new navigation method can be tried. A new explosive payload can be adjusted. A battlefield unit can send feedback today, and a workshop can change the design tomorrow. That speed is dangerous, because it means war is starting to look less like old industrial production and more like software development. Test, fail, improve, deploy, repeat. And the side that repeats faster gains momentum. This is also why the psychological effect is so powerful. A soldier can hide from artillery if he hears it coming. A vehicle can move at night to avoid being spotted. A command post can relocate. But drones make everyone feel watched. They can hover, they can wait, they can follow. They can turn a normal road into a trap. They can make movement feel dangerous even far behind the front. That pressure changes behavior. Troops move less. Vehicles hide more. Supplies become harder to deliver. Repairs become riskier. Evacuations become more dangerous. And when an army becomes afraid to move, it becomes harder to fight. That is the hidden power of drone warfare. It is not just destruction, it is paralysis. Now add artificial intelligence to that. Add faster targeting. Add better recognition. Add drones that can keep flying after the signal drops. Add systems that help commanders understand the battlefield in real time. Suddenly, the question is not just who has more weapons. The question is, who can build the fastest decision machine? Because modern war is becoming a contest of systems. Sensors find targets. Software filters information. Command networks move data. Weapons strike. Drones confirm damage. Then the cycle starts again. Every time that loop gets faster, the battlefield becomes more lethal. And Ukraine has become the laboratory where all of this is being tested under real combat pressure. That is why this moment matters. The drone war is not a side story. It is the preview. The cheap weapon that forces expensive defenses. The small machine that hunts the large machine. The software update that changes the next attack. The flying camera that becomes the trigger for a strike. And the AI system that helps compress the time between seeing and destroying. This is not just about Ukraine. It is not just about Russia. It is about what war becomes when machines start operating at machine speed. Humans are still making decisions. Humans are still fighting. Humans are still dying. But the tempo is changing. The battlefield is getting faster, cheaper, more connected, and more automated. And once that happens, there is no going back. Because every country that watches this war is going to ask the same question. How do we build this faster? How do we defend against it? How do we stop cheap drones from destroying expensive systems? How do we survive when the sky is full of sensors? And how do we fight when the enemy can see, decide, and strike before we can move? That is why AI drones are rewriting modern warfare. Not because they replace every soldier, not because they win wars alone, but because they change the rules everyone else has to follow. In the old battlefield, survival meant armor, distance, and firepower. In the new battlefield, survival means speed, concealment, adaptation, and electronic resilience. The side that learns faster lives longer. The side that adapts slower gets exposed. And the side that connects drones, AI, sensors, and weapons into one system gets the advantage. That is the future being built in Ukraine, and whether the world is ready or not, that future is already here.